Yeah, sunny days, no clouds in the sky, about to get away. Feels like it's been a freaking decade. Sorry, don't call me 'cause I'm gonna be on break. Sunny day, make way. All the stress and doubt, yeah, not today.
In today's video, I'd like to share with you 7 habits that have made my life better over the years. Now, this list is by no means comprehensive or exhaustive because I'm a girl living in the 21st century and there's a bunch of cool stuff being released all the time. But I wanted to share the love in case you also happen to find these practices helpful. The first practice in today's video is actually an affordable purchase, which is a sleep mask. And a few years back, I definitely was not as picky with my sleep hygiene. I guess it's just something that comes with age and also living in a city with a lot of light and ambient noise. But this thing is like a €10 investment that pays dividends. I want to add 2 little extras here to this point, which are my lavender friends. The first is a lavender essential oil roll-on that I put on my wrists and my neck just before sleep. And the second is a lavender spray that I put on our pillows just before bed. And I'm aware, these 2 things look very extra. They're not at all necessary, but they have helped me establish a firm evening routine that puts me in a state of calm so that I can prepare for a good night's rest. None of these are sponsored, but I will link to my favorite brands and scents in the description box below. The second practice takes us back to the morning routine. Once you've gotten your beauty sleep and you are ready to take on the day, I have found that one of the best ways to start my day is reading. And mornings, I think, can be a special time. So often, I think that when the alarm goes off, we're rushing to get ready and get out of the house as soon as possible to jump on the hamster wheel and start work. And this practice, this simple practice of reading for 15 minutes, I have found allows me to take back control of some of my day. That by choosing to spend 15 minutes reading something that interests me, I'm setting the tone for my day that I have control over my time, I have control over what I consume, and that has trickle-down effects for the rest of the day. The next 5 practices actually take us out of the house. So I'm going to head to the gym now because my coffee has loaded, and I'll talk about point number 3 on the way. What a fabulous day. It seems that we've finally turned a corner here in Brussels and spring is on the horizon. You can hear the birds chirping, the sun is coming out earlier, and wouldn't you know it, people's moods are better. It's amazing how those things work together. Point number 3 in today's video, or practice number 3 in today's video, has to do with social media and setting some boundaries for a healthy relationship. A few years back, I set the restriction with myself of not checking social media until at least noon each day. And actually, since starting this practice, I have pushed it back until about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, which has done wonders for my mental health. For one, it keeps my mornings sacred and allows me to focus on work or on doing the things that I know make me feel good, both body and mind. And I like to make the analogy of eating chocolate for breakfast, that waking up and checking social media first thing in the morning feels really good, as does eating chocolate cake for breakfast. But in my experience, it's going to leave you feeling less than stellar later on. So whatever your social media vice is, I'm sure we all have at least one, be it YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, whatever. I challenge you to try this out for at least the next week. Try pushing back the time that you open the app to later in the day and just notice how you feel. It's a pretty low risk experiment. I mean, there's nothing really to lose. It's springtime. Wow. Habit number 4 today brings us into the world of work. Ooh. And one habit that really improved my workflow was blocking my weekly schedule, having specific days for specific tasks. So for example, my Mondays are dedicated solely to programming. It's when I plan out every single one of my classes for the week, both my in-studio classes and my privates. Tuesdays are for YouTube planning. Wednesdays are for filming. Thursdays and Fridays are for video editing. Now you, dear friend, may work in an office job, which is totally fine. You can still apply this method to your madness. I would highly recommend you check out the podcast by Tim Ferriss that he did with Greg McEwen, in which Greg gives actionable tips for you to bring some order to your day-to-day to-dos. Structuring my workflow in this way has reduced a lot of brain fatigue because I think a lot of energy is lost just in switching from one task to another. Instead, I identify the most important thing to get done that day and I focus all of my efforts there and I really squeeze the lemon, so to speak. Additionally, by focusing my energy and having one big task to tick off at the end of each day, I feel accomplished. Because I don't know about you, but I find that sometimes my to-do list at the end of the day is longer than when I started. And so in the past, I would make a to-do list, go about ticking things off, and then as things popped into my mind, I would continue to add, and it was almost like this vicious Sisyphus cycle of never actually feeling like I was chipping away at any real work. But with this system, I don't have to beat myself up at the end of the day for not having done it all. I identify the most important thing that has to get done, I focus all of my efforts there, and then anything that gets done on top of that is extra. And I think this also, over the long term, makes your workflow more sustainable. Because if you don't celebrate the little wins when you do finish the big thing, if you finish it and then you're immediately on to the next thing that you have to do, it sucks. Like, you kind of give yourself the signal that you're not going to celebrate when the thing gets done, which means that the next time that you have to do something, you're not going to be as enthusiastic to do it because your brain's going to say, well, you're not going to give us the treat at the end of the race anyway. So, and I think over time it has diminishing returns. One little caveat to this, which I think is definitely worth mentioning, is that make sure that the task you assign for that day is something that's doable in one day. Don't make it write your first novel. You know, there has to be a delicate balance between chasing your goals and having big dreams and also setting reasonable expectations. And somewhere in the middle there is what we're striving for. All right, friends, to the gym. The next 2 points in this video have to do with working out. Habit number 5 has been to make daily movement a priority. I'm not too picky when it comes to activity. It could be yoga, walking, weightlifting, climbing, anything really. I think there's benefit in variety, in training the body to be fit to take on anything. The biggest benefit I've seen from implementing this practice is the effect it has on my mood. I have a working theory that each day we wake up with a little bitchy version of ourselves that wants to sabotage our potential. It's the voice that encourages you to hit the snooze button, the one that wants you to call in sick to work, or the one that tells you to have the 3rd cup of coffee even though you're already on edge. This voice is strong and can be very persuasive. But working out, ideally in the morning, I found quiets this voice. Instead, you give power and energy to the part of you that wants to kick ass and achieve big things. The somewhat unfortunate part about this theory on the bitchy voice is that each day things reset. You wake up the next day and bam, the bitch is back. And so we must pull ourselves to the gym or to the pool or outside for a run. Movement is powerful exactly because it can shift our inner dialogue. It gives us the opportunity to be present and to honor our body. It's also something that we can control, how often and how well we show up for ourselves. Because crap will happen that's out of our control, things that will make you upset. But it's been my experience that I can't talk myself out of a bad mood. So I dance, I swim, I run, I move. And the 7th practice is actually an affordable purchase, a smartwatch. Now, there's a wide selection out there that range in price and functionality, but I recommend that you get one that has at least a pedometer, a timer, and a heart rate measure. The heart rate measure allows you to gauge workout intensity, the timer enables you to track your rest times, and the pedometer reminds you not to sit too much during the day. All subtle nudges to get you moving more. All right, the last habit in today's video brings us to food, specifically meeting your daily required protein intake. And the amount of daily protein you'll need to consume will depend on a few different factors. First is your training/activity level. If you're currently training to gain muscle or to lose fat or for an endurance event, all of those will have slightly different requirements on how much protein you'll need. Also your age, your sex, as I said, depends on a bunch of different factors. However, one thing that I've found over the years of implementing this, specifically the last 2 years of trying my best in each meal to meet this daily required amount, is that I found I have greater satiety levels, that I feel fuller for longer, that the hunger that I feel in between meals is less aggressive, good things, and that I've seen it translate really well into my progress at the gym. The work that I put in the gym is then shown. If you're looking for a general rule of thumb, a safe range is between 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Now, if you're looking to gain muscle or if you're currently trying to lose fat, it would be safe to aim towards the upper end of that, 1.7 to even 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. There's been a lot of research done regarding timing and quality of protein source, and the first one, timing, has been shown that it doesn't really matter when you consume the protein. As long as you're hitting that number, you're gonna be good. However, as an aside, anecdotally, I have found that when I front load my protein towards the beginning part of the day, at least 20 to 25 grams with breakfast, I make better subsequent food choices throughout the day, and my energy is more sustained, which is very much appreciated. And the second point of a quality protein source is kind of a duh, right? It kind of goes without saying. Buy the best quality protein that your budget currently allows for. And also try to diversify as much as possible. So try not to rely too heavily on one protein source, whether it's a powder or a specific meat. Eat the whole rainbow. You know, this can be from beans, from dairy, from meat, from fish, eggs. Eat it all. Of course, barring any allergy or, dietary restrictions that you may have. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining. As I said in the intro, these are just a few practices that have benefited my life over the years, and I wanted to share the love in the hopes that they also improve your daily routines. And if you have any practices that you find helpful, then please share the love, drop them down below in the comments. I would love to take a look, and I'm always looking to learn. So with that, I'm wishing you guys a beautiful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you back here very soon. Ciao.